The term broadband refers to the wide bandwidth characteristics of a transmission medium and its ability to transport multiple signals and traffic types simultaneously. The medium can be coaxial cable, optical fiber, twisted pair, DSL local telephone networks or wireless. In contrast, baseband describes a communication system in which information is transported across a single channel. Different criteria for broad have been applied in different contexts and at different times. Its origin is in physics, acoustics and radio systems engineering, where it had been used with a meaning similar to wideband. Later, with the advent of digital telecommunications, the term was mainly used for transmission over multiple channels. Whereas a passband signal is also modulated so that it occupies higher frequencies, it is still occupying a single channel. The key difference is that what is typically considered a broadband signal in this sense is a signal that occupies multiple passbands, thus allowing for much higher throughput over a single medium, but with additional complexity in the transmitter-receiver circuitry. Finally, the term became popularized through the 1990s as a marketing term for Internet access that was faster than dial-up access, the original Internet access technology, which was limited to 56 kbits. This meaning is only distantly related to its original technical meaning. Broadband refers to a communication bandwidth of at least 256 kbits. Each channel is 4 MHz wide and it uses an extensive range of frequencies to effortlessly relay and receive data between networks. In telecommunications, a broadband signaling method is one that handles a wide band of frequencies. Broadband is a relative term, understood according to its context. The wider the bandwidth of a channel, the greater the information carrying capacity, given the same channel quality. In radio, for example, a very narrow band will carry Morse code. A broader band will carry speech. A still broader band will carry music without losing the high audio frequencies required for realistic sound reproduction. This broadband is often divided into channels or frequency bins using passband techniques to allow frequency division multiplexing, instead of sending a higher quality signal. A television antenna may be described as broadband, because it is capable of receiving a wide range of channels. While a single frequency or low VHF antenna is narrowband since it receives only 1 to 5 channels. The U.S. Federal Standard FS 1037C defines broadband as a synonym for wideband. In data communications, a 56K modem will transmit a data rate of 56 kilobits per second over a 4 kHz wide telephone line. The various forms of digital subscriber line services are broadband in the sense that digital information is sent over multiple channels. Each channel is at higher frequency than the baseband voice channel, so it can support plain old telephone service on a single pair of wires at the same time. However, when that same line is converted to a non-loaded twisted pair wire, it becomes hundreds of kilohertz wide and can carry up to 60 megabits per second using very high bitrate digital subscriber line techniques. In the late 1980s, the Broadband Integrated Services Digital Network used the term to refer to a broad range of bit rates, independent of physical modulation details. In computer networks, many computer networks use a simple line code to transmit one type of signal using a medium's full bandwidth using its baseband. Most versions of the popular Ethernet family are given names such as the original 1980s 10BASE5 to indicate this. Networks that use cable modems on standard cable television infrastructure are called broadband to indicate the wide range of frequencies that can include multiple data users as well as traditional television channels on the same cable. Broadband systems usually use a different radio frequency modulated by the data signal for each band. The total bandwidth of the medium is larger than the bandwidth of any channel. The 10BROAD36 broadband variant of Ethernet was standardized by 1985, but was not commercially successful. The DOCSIS standard became available to consumers in the late 1990s, to provide Internet access to cable television residential customers. Matters were further confused by the fact that the 10PASSTS standard for Ethernet ratified in 2008 used DSL technology, and both cable and DSL modems often have Ethernet connectors on them. power lines have also been used for various types of data communication. Although some systems for remote control are based on narrowband signaling, modern high-speed systems use broadband signaling to achieve very high data rates. One example is the ITU-TGHN standard, which provides a way to create a local area network up to 1 gigabit using existing home wiring. In video, broadband in analog video distribution is traditionally used to refer to systems such as cable television, where the individual channels are modulated on carriers at fixed frequencies. In this context, baseband is the term's antonym, referring to a single channel of analog video, typically in composite form with separate baseband audio. The act of demodulating converts broadband video to baseband video. Fiber optic allows the signal to be transmitted farther without being repeated. Cable companies use a hybrid system using fiber to transmit the signal to neighborhoods and then changes the signal from light to radio frequency to be transmitted to over coaxial cable to homes. Doing so reduces the use of having multiple head ends. A head end gathers all the information from the local cable networks and movie channels and then feeds the information into the system. However, broadband video in the context of streaming internet video has come to mean video files that have bit rates high enough to require broadband internet access for viewing. Broadband video is also sometimes used to describe IPTV video on demand. Internet access. The standards group CCITT defined broadband service in 1988 as requiring transmission channels capable of supporting bit rates greater than the primary rate, which ranged from about 1.5 to 2 Mbps. The U.S. National Information Infrastructure Project during the 1990s brought the term into public policy debates. Broadband became a marketing buzzword for telephone and cable companies to sell their more expensive higher data rate products, especially for Internet access. In the U.S. National Broadband Plan of 2009, it was defined as Internet access that is always on and faster than the traditional dial-up access. The same agency has defined it differently through the years. In 2000, 3% of the U.S. adult population had access to a broadband connection at home. As of August 2013, 70% of U.S. adults accessed the Internet at home through a broadband connection, while 3% use dial-up. Even though information signals generally travel between 40% and 70% of the speed of light in the medium no matter what the bit rate, higher rate services are often marketed as faster, or higher speeds. Consumers are also targeted by advertisements for peak transmission rates, while actual end-to-end rates observed in practice can be lower due to other factors. See also, broadband universal service, mobile broadband, ultra-wideband, wireless broadband, nation-specific, broadband mapping in the United States, national broadband plans from around the world, references.